Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's your boy, Coach George, here with you with another episode of Pathway to Power, the podcast. And today I got on my brother, Christian Palmer, professional bodybuilder, Washingtonville native. This brother's really doing his thing, putting out a lot of good, valuable content and information out to the people. It's an honor to be able to have him on tonight. I met Christian at Awakened Events, which was a personal development seminar and workshop that we go to with our mentor Flory Treaties out in Brookfield, Connecticut. When I met Christian, man, instantly, I gravitated towards him because he's a phenomenal speaker. He knows his material, knows his information, knows it very well, understands how to present it. This dude is the total package, man, when it comes to just being a wealth of knowledge and then actually being the type of individual that puts the work in to be able to get the results for what it is that he talks about, to hear him talk about, the mindset that is necessary in order to become a peak performer, to become a IFBB pro bodybuilder, which is something that is remarkable that he has been able to accomplish in his personal career. And to be able to have him, to come and be a part of this platform, to be able to volunteer his time, to come out, to be able to reach back to the community, to his people. It's really humbling to have somebody of this magnitude and this level join the platform and get out there. And Christian, like the many other speakers, man, they're all dynamic in their own right. They all have a tremendous movement and a bunch of different things going on. These aren't people that are just out there looking for an opportunity. No, these are people that are out there every single day putting in that work, giving out that valuable information, working with the people in the community, and making things happen. We're just waiting for him to get on. He's a very, very busy individual. So today, we're going with the okay. Here we go. We're going with the pre-recorded set. So, Christian, how you doing, man?
I am doing great, my man. How are you?
All right, all is well. I was just doing like a brief introduction, talking to the people about how we met, how we connected, how I met you at Flory's Awakened Events in Brookfield, Connecticut. Instantly meeting you, I just knew that there was something very remarkable about you, your mindset, the way that you carried yourself, the way that you spoke, the way that you presented your information. I just knew that you were a next level type of individual. I mean, professional bodybuilder, your body speaks for itself when it comes to the level of discipline, determination, and dedication, and the mindset that it takes in order to become a peak performer. And I'm so grateful that you have decided to join us and become a part of this platform, being an Hudson Valley native, coming from Washingtonville, right?
Absolutely. Born and raised.
Yeah, born and raised in Washingtonville. My family comes from Washingtonville, the Weavers, the Tonics, and the Hawkins. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, my family's from out there in Washingtonville as well. So when I met him, I was like, man, small world. But it's an honor to have him on. And like I said, man, I know you're a very busy individual. And I thank you for giving us your time today and giving us your time for the platform for Pathway to Power. So one of the things I'd like to do is, man, Christian is a mental health specialist. He's a coach, professional bodybuilder, and he's a leader of high performing men. You're actually coaching somebody I know right now that I have a fond level of respect for, Jamal Jackson. If you're not following him, give him a follow, watch his journey. But to see two powerful individuals like yourself link up, and I know the results that you have gotten, and I've seen the results that he's getting. You're really in the community. You're really out here putting in the work. Let's start, man. Tell us a little something about yourself that you would want the people to know. And let's start from the beginning, like, where you're from, what it was like for you growing up, we'll take it from there. We'll build from there.
Absolutely. So I grew up in Washingtonville, as you mentioned. And as a kid, I was always fascinated with competition. I always wanted to see what I could accomplish. How far can I go? How much better can I be than yesterday? I was always fascinated with challenging myself to get to the next level. And looking back on myself as a kid, I realized that I had a lot of natural traits, a lot of the natural traits of a leader. And I didn't realize it then, it was just how I was. And I realized that because it would be time to go out and play, right? It'd be the weekend. So I'd hop on my bike, I'd go to the next cul-de-sac, round up some kids. We go to the next cul-de-sac, round up some kids. And it always turned out that I was the one who would decide what we would do, what we would play. I was the one who would introduce new kids into our group. When things got a little tense between kids, I would calm things down. And when I got to high school, that's when I got interested in physical fitness. But prior to that, as a kid, I did skateboarding, I did BMX, I did martial arts. That was my first sport, if you will. I played soccer. And then in high school, I did track and field, I did football, and bodybuilding captured my interest when I was 14 years old. I was at my dad's house and I was surfing the net and I came across a picture of a bodybuilder named Garrett Downing. Matter of fact, I still have that picture on my door. And the second I saw that, I thought, boom, I want to look just like that. And I just got bit by the bug. And every day from then on, I was completely invested and committed to becoming the best version of myself. Just so happens that was through bodybuilding, but everything that I've learned through bodybuilding has made its way into other areas of my life.
That's awesome. So you had talked about, like, knowing from an early age that you had a leadership trait, that you had that leadership quality. Was there somebody that spoke that into you, somebody that was able to see it in you and they began to cultivate the leader in you as you was growing up? Or was it just that inert, knowing and understanding that I'm different, that I'm cut from a different cloth, that I have different qualities than anybody else? Was there like a mentor there at an early age, or somebody that was able to acknowledge that, to begin to speak into you and cultivate that gift in you? Or was it
Mm.
something that just came naturally?
So I want to say that the seeds of it came naturally. I realized that early on in martial arts was one of my most fond memories and also one of my greatest challenges because as a kid in school, they diagnosed me with ADD. Years later, I found out I was just more energetic than most kids. I was the kid who was up earliest, stayed up the latest, and I was high on life. I was always ready to go. And in school, they would say, "Oh, he talks a lot." But I was just interested in getting outside and playing and mingling with other kids and learning about them and building community, building friendships. And when it came to martial arts, you realize in life, focus is an important part of becoming successful. And my struggle was that I wasn't always good at focusing on the things that would help me advance, let's say, in the adult world. And when I was young. So martial arts taught me about discipline. It taught me that when you put in focus with effort, right? Because I had a lot of effort, but it was just like boom, boom, effort was everywhere. When you channel your effort and you with focus, you can create amazing things. And my dad was in the military, he was in the army, and he was always very a stickler on discipline. His policy was there's only two ways to do things, the right way and again, right? If you're going to do something right, do it right the first time, measure twice, cut once. And I always noticed that he was very meticulous with everything. It was make sure things are, if you're going to borrow something, if you're going to go over someone's house, if you're going to use something that was somebody else's, put it back the way you found it so that they would never even know you were there or that you used it. And I realized that, okay, that's something that's a trait of discipline that's very important. And, be aware. And when it came to anyone who nurtured my my discipline or my belief in myself, my confidence, my mom always taught me, you could do anything you put your mind to. Same thing with my dad. And then in martial arts, I realized that I excelled past the other students in the class. And it wasn't like I was this phenom, just doing crazy things, but I realized that I've got a lot of ability. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't pay enough attention to is that the small wins, the little things that you notice you're good at or that make you feel good, do more of those as long as of course they're conducive to your goals and becoming a better version of you. And I carried that through life. In football, I was the fastest kid on the team, right? That's genetics, right? I had no say in that. I just performed it. And in track and field, there was one year where I went undefeated in the 100-meter dash and I did high jump and I won some meets. And you know, moment after moment, experience after experience, I realized, okay, I've got things that are good that allow me to feel accomplished, that I notice that I've got talent, skills, and then now I got to put this focus on it to become something. So I think one, the encouragement from my mom and always supporting me, my dad instilling discipline and hard work. And listen, no one's going to give you anything. You are not owed anything. He was born in Jamaica, came over here, uh, through a trade school. And, a lot of people that are born in Jamaica do not get the opportunity to come to America. But he happened to work his butt off. He came over to America, and he was always if you want something done right, do it yourself, which we know in growing business, that's not always the best mentality, but it's great for building discipline. And I always saw him working. He was always working. He used to work, just to keep it brief, he used to work for a company called O&R, Orange and Rockland Utilities.
Okay.
And now that's owned by Con Ed. And he was a substation worker. And he was always on call. So I remember early in the morning, they'd call him out at 3 a.m., 5 a.m., sometimes at night. He just went to sleep, came from work, and was going back. He would do yard work. He would do some of the electric work around the house, the plumbing. He was a jack of all trades, and he was very focused on being self-sufficient. So I learned, okay, there's a lot of things that we're capable of, and I see that through my dad. So that made me feel like, okay, well, I'm cut from that cloth. That means I am that kind of person. And looking at my mom, I mean, she's extremely strong woman. She's got, Italian roots, so she'll let you know if you acting up, get that wooden
Hmm.
spoon out. And I learned that, love for yourself first and then for others is important. Making others feel important is also important. And when you want to advance in life, you've got to surround yourself with the right people. That's something that I noticed she taught me, because through her interactions and me seeing how she interacted with other people, I learned, okay, I noticed my mom feels very comfortable and very supported and confident when she's around these people. And then other people, she doesn't really want to spend so much time around them. And I asked myself, I wonder why that is. And then I would ask her, hey, mommy, why this, why that? I was always a why and what if kid. So that was another part, is that I was very inquisitive. I would always ask questions. So the combination of those things, the support from my parents, natural innate behaviors from me, and then realizing that you can achieve a lot of success when you put focus behind your actions, that, led me down the path of, or it helped me along the path that I'm on today.
Wow, that's amazing. So let me ask you, just being young, growing up, because you seem like you've had people there to help shape your identity. And a large part of my audience and the people I speak to, they don't come from two family homes.
Mhm.
They don't have the father there to be able to raise them, to be able to give you the beliefs and the value systems that they're going to need to become successful. And this is one of the things that I think is important because, we're bringing together so many different faces from the Hudson Valley, and not everybody has the same story. So I think it's important to have a brother like you on here to be able to say that this is what it looks like, when somebody comes from two family homes, where
Mhm.
both parents are there and the child is being poured into and the father is actually accepting his role and training that child to become a man. Even in that though, were there any like particular challenges or any
Mhm.
obstacles that you faced in your early years that you feel contributed or even pushed you even further beyond what your parents poured into you? Because we understand that our parents can only give us so much and
Mhm.
take us up to a certain point, but it's what we do with that information and how do we apply it to the situations and circumstances that we go through in life in order to catapult us and propel us forward. So if you can, can you just share, maybe one or two moments in your teenage years or early 20s where you felt like maybe you was at a crossroad where I can
Mhm.
make this decision or I can make that decision, and what that process was like, and how making the right decision ultimately put you in a position to be where you are today?
Absolutely. So, I'm no stranger to challenges in the household. So my parents got divorced when I was 12. And that was a moment in my life when you realize that the white picket fence is not always the reality for everybody, right? And my dad was never great with showing love, expressing emotion. When it comes to the Jamaican culture, you're either extremely loving or you're very disciplined and a little cold and very um brash, right? It's
Yeah,
about, this is how life is, this is how you do it, you're a man, depend on yourself, right? And then my mom's side, she's Italian and African American, and she was always about love the people around you, you show support to those who you love. And when my parents split, I realized that, okay, you know life can take unforeseen changes. These things can happen and you have no say in it. And you start to ask yourself, why does this happen? And, day-to-day life started to look different because my dad wasn't around all the time. I would see him every other week. And I started to think about, just from talking to my mom and being very introspective and thinking about, okay, thinking back over my childhood. My dad didn't always, he wasn't the guy that said, I love you a lot, right? In fact, and when I was a kid, I don't really remember it much. And he wasn't great with hugs. And I realized each parent gives you different gifts, right? They teach you different things about yourself, about life. And there are things that you can end up developing from them that maybe aren't so great. And being very emotionally mature is something that I think everyone, especially when you're young, it's hard to know when you haven't, lived enough life and be able to look back on it. But realizing that emotional outbursts are not something that's ever going to help you get somewhere great. And most importantly, surrounding yourself with the right people. So, fortunately, in school, I always gravitated towards people who had ambition. And there was plenty of opportunity to go, with dudes who were smoking weed and drinking and partying all the
Mhm.
time. And it was never interesting to me. And part of that was because of the bodybuilding bug that bit me early on. And also I would look at these individuals. So, and I think this is something that's very important for young kids to know is that you've got to look at the people around you and ask yourself, would I trade lives with that person?
Wow, that was good.
Would I want to be in that person's shoes day to day? What are their interactions with their family, let's say, and their friends? Simple things. How do they dress? Thinking back to when I worked in 2012, when I worked at Lululemon in the Woodbury Commons, there was a kid who worked there with me named Joel. A kid, he was in college. And I remember that he would come to work and he would wear either a polo and khakis or an Oxford and khakis. Always looked very nice. And I was like, Joel, I stopped him one day. I'm like, why do you always dress this way when you're going to school? He's like, well, I dress for how important things are to me. That changed my
Wow.
mind. I thought,
Wow.
I'm like, man, that's an incredible piece of information for everyone, period, but especially when you're young. Because when I think back to school, kids will wear pajama pants out, they got their slippers on. They don't care about putting their best foot forward because they don't realize that it matters. And not just about being, putting your best foot forward for others, but also yourself, self-worth, self-value, right? If you get it, I would ask most kids, oh, if you got a brand new sports car, how would you treat it? Oh my God, I'd wash it all the time. I'd keep it in the garage all nice. I'm like, well, why don't you do that with yourself? Why don't you wear the things that make you feel good and that present a great version of you? And that that bit of info that Joel left me, it had a permanent impact on me. And I think it's extremely important for every kid to realize that everything you do matters. And the people that are in your environment will either help you get where you want to go or they will hold you back.
Mm.
Okay? The the analogy or piece of info that a lot of us have heard, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And because nowadays there's so much social media, right? Is that it's not only the people that you spend time with in person, it's the information you consume. The people you follow on social media, those likes, right? Those comments you make, those people who you are investing time in, they are influencing who you become. Because we all know when we're kids, we listen to music, right? You listen to like rap music, rock music, and you
Mm-hmm.
might want to be like that dude. Like you listen to Tupac. All right, some kids wear bandanas, right? Or you listen to whoever it is, Busta Rhymes or Mob Deep, right? Or Nas, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna wear my pants baggy because we're influenced by these dudes who we think have success, and many of them do. But you don't always want to take after everything you see. You want to think about what kind of man do I want to become? What kind of person do I want to become? And is this going to help me get there? A lot of that is who you're surrounded by. And I think this is so important for kids to embrace because we all at some point, and anyone listening to this, do it today. Do a life audit. Look at your friends, the 3 or 5 friends you spend the most time with, and think about, do they support you in your goals and what you do? Can you be yourself around them? Or do you have to play another role because, oh, I want to fit in? That's the
Wow.
first red flag because that means that you're not comfortable around those people and they're not supporting you. So you have to be someone else, which is not going to lead you to be the best version of you, right? Because you're playing a role. Do they live? Are they ambitious? Do they have goals themselves? Where are they headed? If you were to draw a trajectory 2 to 5 years from now, where would they be? Forget you for a second. Where would they be? Right? Would they have a relationship they're proud of? Would they have a job or career they're proud of? Would they have relationships with others that they're proud of? What kind of image do they put forth? Do they care about others around them? Are they kind? Are they generous? Are they intelligent? Are they always focused on, okay, I want to learn more. I want to surround myself with good people. If that's not the case, you really have to consider, I'm not saying get rid of them because that's not always possible. And sometimes those people are family. But you do have to consider, who do I actively want to, better yet, who am I going to surround myself with? Who am I going to seek out? The people that live lives that you admire. And I don't mean, oh, I want to have the car they have. Maybe so. But the content of their character, those people, seek them out. And if it is on social media, find people who live lives that you would be proud to live. And you feel like the information that they give you, it makes you think about yourself. It challenges you. That's also a good thing, is that we don't always want yes men,
That's
right?
right.
Oh, this was hard, so I didn't do it. Oh yeah, it's okay. I want the friend that says, no, 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 no. Your potential is up here, and here's where you are right now. That's a problem. I know you're better than that, and you know you're better than that. So what are we going to do about it? Those are the people that you want to be surrounded by. The ones that say, I know you have more. How do we get you there? And vice versa. You should be doing that to them. Look, man, I've noticed you've been slacking XYZ in these areas over the last, however, whatever period of time. Why is that, man? You have to care about them. I want to see you do better. When I think about, three of my closest friends, Mike, Jesse, and Ciro, anytime they have issues, they call me. What's up? As long as I'm, not in an appointment, what's going
Mm-hmm.
on? Okay, there's a problem. I make time for them because I care about their future, right? Now, two of them, one of them is married. The two of them has kids. Ciro, he's not married yet, but he's in a relationship, doesn't have kids yet. But no matter what, I care about where they're headed, and vice versa. If I reach out to them, I know that I can count on them for conversations. I won't be judged, and they'll give me objective information, and they'll be real with me. They're not going to just fluff me up and say, "Oh no, it's okay. It's dude, this is a problem. So what are you going to do about it?"
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's one of the things that I tell the young people, when I go to Middletown schools and I work with these groups, you're always able to identify a leader out of every group, out of every session, somebody that just has that ability. And just telling them, the responsibility that they have as that individual to be the one to be able to show up for their friends, to show
Mm.
up for their peers. It's like sometimes you don't want the responsibility, you don't want to carry the weight of it, of pushing, people that are going in the wrong direction, in the right direction. But by leading by example and being there and sharing the information that you have and actually being present and caring, and that's one of the things. Like, you're a coach, I'm a coach, so I listen to the language that you speak and how you
Mm.
relate to people and how you're able to see the potential and realize that there's a gap between what you say you want for yourself and from where you're at right now, and having that where you're holding people accountable. Like me, I learned so much from football coaches, having somebody get in my face, hold me
Mm-hmm.
accountable. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was kicking and screaming and pitching the fit, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't afraid to challenge me. They wasn't afraid to push me. They wasn't afraid to get the very best out of me. And this is one of the things that I think is grossly lacking inside of our communities where we come from, is just having that people that have gone the way, that have the information, that are showing up, that are going to work with you and hold you accountable for what it is that you say that you want. And like you say, one of the things that we know is that we have to continuously keep ourselves accountable to somebody else. Like, you're a coach. You have multiple coaches from what I've seen over the years. People
Mm-hmm.
that you deal with, that pour into you, that encourage you, that help you take yourself to the next level. And I think far too often what happens is sometimes in our community where we come from, we'll reach a certain level of success and then get comfortable.
Mm.
And then we cap our own potential because we thought that comfort was the goal, that comfort was the prize. And it's like, no, that's not the goal. You know what I'm saying? You'll have moments of comfort, but for the true, People that want to be overachievers, they're going to push themselves every day. They're going to challenge themselves every day. And sometimes that road can get difficult on your own. But when you have an accountability partner, when you have a friend that says, no, I know you're better than that, or you have somebody that's going to push you to your next rep or to your next level or to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, is super important. And that's why this is why we're doing what we're doing with Pathway to Power, because you're putting out valuable content every day on your social media. So for people that can never connect with you personally, all they got to do is just tap into your social media, and the amount of knowledge that you pour out and information that you give to encourage people, in terms of mindset, and that's just a small portion of what it is that you provide in terms of the value that you offer, to your community for those that follow you. But this is so important. These are the conversations that need to be had. Like, your face is a face that the people need to see. Your message is a message that the people need to hear. And to have an understanding that you're accessible, that you're right here. Like, you're a very busy person. You know what I'm saying? Professional bodybuilder. What are you training for a show right now? I keep seeing the
Yeah, yeah.
updates and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you're making time to give back to your community, to be able to share what it is that you've learned. And this is what I want our audience to see, man. Like, the heart and the passion behind the mission and the vision of what it is that we're trying to create. And we talked about relationships. This is somebody that I'm honored to have met and to have a relationship with. I went to your what was it,
Oh, empowerment.
the men's empowerment that you and Flory did. Knocked my socks off, man. Like, that was like a world class education in men's fitness and men's health. Let's talk about that aspect of it too, because there's a lot that you do with understanding not only your mindset but understanding your body, even from a hormonal and cellular level. And you're very big on, like, doing your blood work, understanding your numbers and your metrics, and then designing your nutrition plan. yo, it blows my mind how how dialed in you are on even the most minute aspect of what it is that makes you complete and that makes you whole and allows you to get the results that you do in terms of feeding yourself, your body, the things that it needs in order to operate at an optimal level. And then, at the same time, now you're pushing your body beyond its limits. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what bodybuilding is. It's a
Hmm.
constant breaking down in order to build up. But you understand this from a whole different level, and I want to get into that aspect now because that's a part of what you're bringing to the stage: proper nutrition and physical fitness, and how it can contribute to a person's overall well-being. And a lot of our people in our community, we're not eating the right foods, we're
Hmm.
not working out, we're not doing the right type of daily habits that we need in order to have our temple operating. And a lot of the dis-ease that we have in our life, and I'm not talking about disease as in physical, but I'm just saying dis-ease, for your body not to be at ease, for your mind not to be at ease, for your spirit not to be at ease, not to be at peace. A lot of it goes back to what it is that we're putting in our body. So, what took you from bodybuilding to getting into that level of understanding as it pertains to you becoming the best version of yourself from a nutritional standpoint?
So, right before I get into that, I want to refer back to something that you mentioned. You talked about language.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of who we become. And I love that you brought that up because it's something that I talk to my clients about, myself too, friends, every single, almost every day. And there are cues that will let us know we're not fully committed to something, even though we say we want it or should. Yeah, I should do that. Yeah, I want to, man, I need to do that versus I will do that by XYZ. The language that we speak to ourselves becomes our reality. Okay. And that speaks to identity. And identity, it's the reason why I am who I am and I do what I do every day because that's my identity. I am the man who does the things that I do. And there's a lot of people who want things, but it's casual. And as opposed to saying, I am the kind of person that, whether it's gets up at 5 a.m., gets a workout in every day, eats the things that are conducive to my goals, only surrounds myself with people who have the energy that's going to help me get to where I want to be, or are brutally honest with me, who are ambitious themselves. I only, or I am the person who is kind to others and puts others before self, whatever that might be. But realize that language is everything. So when a red flag to look out for that lets you know you're not going to succeed in a certain area is if you say, all right, I'll try. As the great Yoda said, there is no try. There is do or do not. Oh, yeah, one day, I should do that. Okay. Yeah, man, I really need to get to that. Okay. I will do that. By, right? Will means that is you as the person who will get it done, and by a certain date, sense of urgency. So when it comes to fitness and how did I get into this realm so in such a deep way? And part of that was seeing that men are suffering in silence and they're living lives of quiet desperation. And a lot of them don't realize that life does not have to be that way. It's just that a lot of the people around us, around them, maybe around you who's listening right now, they put out an example, a message, a signal, and you think that that's how you have to live, right? You hear people say this when they get towards middle age. Oh, I'm just getting old. Now they say it as a joke, but your brain doesn't know the difference between joking and reality. So when things happen, right? Oh, I'm just getting old. I probably won't do that, even though I really want it. I'm just, and then something to focus on, or I should say, to do your best to prevent is regret. Why does regret happen? That happens when we don't swing the bat, when we don't take the opportunity, when we don't do the thing that we really want to, but we've negotiated with ourselves. We've convinced ourselves that either it's not possible, oh, people like me don't do that, or don't achieve that, or, oh, I don't really believe that I'm worthy of it. And so many people, there was a book that I read, and it was called, I believe, the five wishes of the dying, or the five, something like that. And this woman named Bronnie, and she worked in palliative care, or people that are are in the final weeks, months, or years of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And the book was all about the five messages that she heard most from these people. And one of them was, I wish I allowed myself to be happier. That's one. I wish I hadn't cared so much what other people think. Now I'm going to stop on that one, because many of you listening right now are living your lives because of other people's expectations of you. You think, okay, I have to go to this school. I've got to wear these clothes. I've got to speak this way, right? I've got to hang out with these people. I got to drive this car. And that's because you're focused on pleasing them,
Wow.
right? That's becoming a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I always like to say, fast forward. When you look how you're living now, 5 years, 2 years down the road, where will you be? Now, you could say, oh, yeah, I'll 100% be at my goal. I'd be willing to bet that's not the case. Maybe there's a few. But for most people, will that get you to your goal? There's an old saying that says, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity, right? And if you do what you've always done, you get what you've always gotten. I've learned that the hard way. Okay. So I'm speaking from experience. Many people end up living the same 6 months of their lives over and over because of the language they use with themselves, the people they surround themselves with, right? Every time it's, oh, TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Oh, man, I got to go back to work on Monday. Versus, okay, where do I want my life to be? Why don't I love Mondays? Just a day of the week. It's because you're going to do something you don't love, you're not passionate about, but that doesn't fulfill you. Now, I'm not saying we don't always have to all go through that at some point. We do, right? We always work jobs in the beginning that we don't necessarily like because you're getting your feet wet in the world. But when you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's your identity. Oh, I would love to have this. You got to do something different if you want something different. And for me, I worked as a personal trainer at an Equinox right after I worked at Lululemon, where Joel was one of the employees that worked with me.
Okay.
And when I was at Equinox, I realized that there was a lot of men there that struggled with the same issues. It just so happens, is in Westchester, so it's an affluent area, and there's a lot of successful guys there. And a lot of them struggled with many of the same issues, right? They had plenty of zeros in the bank, but they didn't like the man they saw in the mirror.
Wow.
They were not pleased with their relationships, whether with their kids, with their wife. And part of that was because they didn't feel fulfilled, and they would compromise on what they truly wanted because they thought, well, every other guy looks this way, right? Every other guy doesn't have the body he wants, but, he's got plenty of zeros in the bank. So I guess that's just who I am. And I would challenge them and say, well, is that who you want to be? Well, no. So why is it that you don't have the energy you want? You're not proud of what you see when you look in the mirror with your clothes off. You're not proud of the relationship you have with your wife because you've abandoned your own desires. You've abandoned the things you want most. So that's going to leak into the other areas of your life. And I realized that I had many of the answers for these guys to get there. And that starts with the physical. Changing your state is one of the best ways to get yourself driven in the moment, to get yourself to spark your ambition. Anyone I've never met a person who said they were angry after doing a workout. Oh man, I'm so mad. I can't believe I just did that. It's always like, man, I felt good. All right.
Yeah.
I've also never met a person that after they ate a good meal that was conducive to their goals, they were like, I can't believe I did that. It's always, oh man, I shouldn't. I know I had the beers. I shouldn't have. Man, I stayed up late. I partied. I know. All right. It's always the excuses after. And that's the regret. And what that is that's your inner voice that knows what you truly want speaking to you. You shouldn't have done that. Right? It's like the devil and the angel on the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
The devil's like, yeah, do this. Do that thing that feels good right now. The angel's like, I don't know about that. Think about tomorrow. Think about next week. Think about next year. Right? What did you say you were going to do? And you're like, shut up. Like, I don't want to hear you. And you listen to that dude, and then afterwards, he's happy, but you're not. And I saw these guys struggle with that day to day. Client meetings, dinners, trying to manage their stress with food. And slowly their health would degrade year over year. And then when we met, I told them, listen, you can have everything you want. Not only success in your career, you can have success in your family, you can have success in your fitness. It's all about changing your identity. And that starts today. You can do it at any moment. It's not, I'll wait till Monday. That's a great way to, I would say, almost guarantee you're not going to achieve it. The people that say, new year, new me, I'll wait till January 1st. Why not now? Oh, well, there's a lot. Oh, as there's the excuses. That's that devil on the shoulder. Yeah. You shouldn't do it today, right? Just go, do what you want to do. Just have fun, right? Seek comfort. The angel says, you know what you should do. That's why you feel bad that you haven't done it. And these guys would come up with excuses. Oh, I'm just busy. That's one of the most popular ones everyone says. Oh, yeah, I'll get to it, right? Remember we talked earlier about I will, I am. Oh, yeah, I'll get to it. I know I really should. I should. Yeah. Eventually, I'll, man, I at some point I'll get to it. Versus the man that says, I will do that right now. Or when's the soonest time I can do it? Okay, starting on your fitness journey, get the workout in today. Oh, I'll go tomorrow. No. When you get home after work, you take your shoes off. I don't even care. Do some push-ups, do some bodyweight squats. Get the process started. So I would tell these guys, stop searching for excuses and start delivering action. Because you're always going to feel good. People look for motivation. I'm waiting to feel motivated. Good luck with that, right? A motivation is the match. Discipline is the fire.
Wow.
That match, right? We've all lit a match. Boom, right? It starts to burn, gets close to the fingers. If you don't let go of it, oof, you're going to burn yourself. But you light that fire, and then what do you have to do? Just keep adding a little bit logs over time, right? Little twigs. And that is discipline. Each day, you've already started the fire, that match, which is gone. You're not going to feel motivated every day. Motivation is a reason for doing something, and that feeling, because it's an emotion, is fleeting. But discipline is your identity when you say, I will not compromise on my must-haves. I will not negotiate with myself because that's always an option. And I believe J.J. Watts said, fitness is not owned, success is not owned, it's rented, and rent is due every day.
Every day.
And I'll tell you this, you having a barbershop, I'll bet you if you said, I'm not gonna work for the next week or two, what would happen?
I'd lose customers, I'd lose money.
Correct.
Yep.
And then you would feel terrible because, oh man, I can't believe I did that. Versus when you show up every day because you got customers that love what you do, they love what you provide, and they want more, right? And they need it. And they're counting on you to be your best self to show up for them. The same thing in our lives. And that's what I said to these guys. I'm like, look, when you go home, you've compromised on your fitness, you've compromised on your nutrition, and now your family gets crumbs because you come home, you got no energy, you know you don't look how you want, so you're not confident, and they just get the scraps of what's left over. I'm like, does your son deserve that? Does your daughter deserve that? Or do they deserve the best of you? Your wife said, till death do us part. You said you would do the best for her. Are you doing the best for her? Where does that start? It starts with doing the best for yourself. And the same thing with your friends. The only way that you can be the best support system for all those around you is when you support yourself first. Easy analogy, when you're on a plane, they say, if in the unfortunate event that this plane goes down, the oxygen mask will come down. What do? You put it on yourself first, and then you help those around you. The oxygen of your life is the goals you set, the identity you form, and the actions you take. And if you compromise on those, your life will not be what you want it to be, right? The next part of that is stop looking for excuses. Excuses are everywhere, right? What do they say? Excuses and we'll call it buttholes. Everyone's got them, right? But it's all a matter of if you search for them, you'll always find them. It's easy. I mean, I could say, oh man, I'm tired today. I don't feel like doing X, Y, Z. Oh, it's raining out. I don't want to go I got to walk to my car in the rain. I'd rather not go to the gym. And the same thing with interactions, relationships. Oh yeah, I really should call that person. I know I really should keep in touch. And before you know it, you're estranged, right? So notice that these bits of discipline show up in every area of our life. And the reason why I love fitness so much is because it's one of the best ways to influence who you are, because you will treat your fitness like you treat your life. You work out like you treat your life. If you know you got a couple more reps that you could do, but you quit early, guarantee that's showing up in every other area of your life or in other areas. I believe how we do anything is how we do everything. You might be leaving opportunities on the table as far as business. You might be leaving opportunities on the table as far as your relationships, right? With your wife or your husband or your kids. Yeah, I know we should really go to the park, but well, you gave up on those reps. Now you're giving up on the opportunity to build a closer bond with your family. Is that going to lead you 5 years down the road? Where's that going to lead you?
Yeah.
So fitness and nutrition, if you want great things out of your body, you've got to put great things in. Again, let's go back to that sports car, right? You got a brand new Porsche. Beautiful, sitting in the garage. But you put 87 gas in it. You know it needs 93. What are you going to get out of it? Not its potential.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with your body. You don't eat the things you should, you're not going to get. And people say, oh, this is just one. When you earn something that's a treat, great. But the work comes before the success. Right? And I believe.
Say that one more time.
Work comes before. I believe
the only time. People in the back.
Yes. The only time success comes before work is in the dictionary, and that is not your road to life. Okay? Work comes first. Right? Many people say, oh, overnight success. It's funny how it takes people decades to become an overnight success. And the same thing with your body, right? You might look at yourself today and say, man, I got so much work to do. Take the first step. When you want to climb Mount Everest, not saying you want to, but great things that you want to accomplish. How does anyone do it? One step at a time. You have to get those small wins because a series of small wins becomes a great happening. Great things are few and far between, but they are always. Pathway to Power was a culmination of a bunch of small steps. You said to yourself one day, you said, I want to change other people's lives. And you know how. You're a great orator. You're motivational. and you said, there are people out there suffering. There are kids out there suffering, and I know how to help them. But you could have said, oh, I got so much going on with the barbershop and kids and but you said, you know what? I'm dedicated to this because
Mhm.
that purpose is better than my excuses. It's more important than my excuses. And what you did was you walked the pathway and you're giving people power, pathway to
Yes, sir.
power.
Yes,
And the
sir.
same thing with ourselves. We have to walk the path before we feel the power. In order to become the person, it's the law of nature. There's always struggle in the beginning and every day. There's always those two voices, right? The critic within, which says, take the easy route. But you know just as well as I do that will never get you where you want to be. And that's why it's a fight. And that's why the people that achieve the most are often the ones who we want to hear from, right? We want their stories. How did you do it? How did you? I mean, you built this business or you built this body or man, the relationships you have, this skyscraper you built, this business, this. They all had a dream. They all had a desire. They all had an ambition. And they said, let me walk the path one step at a time. I don't always want to do it. For me, I don't always want to go to the gym, but I know what happens if I don't do it, how I'll feel about myself, the progress that I will not make. And I also know how I'll feel afterwards. So I focus on the future of how I'm going to feel. Am I going to be proud of myself tomorrow? Is the decision I'm going to make, and I want all of you to ask yourself, is the decision in every moment, is the decision I'm going to make right now, will it make my future self happy? If the answer is no, don't do it. If the answer is yes, head first.
Wow, wow. So let me ask you, what are some of because you talk about habits and building discipline. What does a normal day look like for you? What does a day filled with daily consistent habits that lead to discipline look like for Christian Palmer?
So up early every day between 4:30 and 5. And the first thing I do is I go on a walk. Before I eat anything, do anything, drink a little bit of water, and I'll go on like a 40-minute walk. And part of that is one, it gets my first win of the day. It's, in my opinion, a secret to success is win the morning and the rest of the day will fall in place, right? When I go on that walk, one, I get to think. I plan, okay, what do I have to accomplish today? Right? How's my body feeling? What are the things that I have to do? Who are the people I have to communicate with? What are the things that I learned the day before that I want to review in my head? Okay, I learned this thing. Oh, I got to reach out to that person. And it gives me an opportunity to have a prepared mind in the morning, right? Versus when you get up, oh, I got a few minutes to get out the door. Oh, so you get up, you rush, and you already feel like you're behind the eight ball. After that, come in and I'll do some mobility work, right? Some stretching. Again, get my body feeling good for the day. And then I eat and then it's off to work. So whether I've got clients or I've got computer work with my online clients, and then in the afternoon at some point, I'll go on another walk. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is that I do what I call microdose movement in throughout the day. A lot of us you can feel very lethargic if you sit all day. Some people work at desks all day.
Hmm.
And sometimes, right, especially with younger kids being on the phone all the time, it just zaps your energy. So it's always great to move your body, get blood flow. Also, it frees your mind. And when you go on these walks in the morning, I might listen to an audiobook. Sometimes I won't listen to anything. Sometimes I'll bring my phone with the intention to listen to something and say, you know what? No, I want clarity. And I just want just nature, sound of the birds chirping, my own thoughts. Let me figure out how today's going to go. And in the afternoon, maybe I'll answer some messages. Maybe I'll call somebody who I need to call. But I always make sure to get some steps in. And when it comes to working, something that a skill I've had to develop is working on my ability to focus. And part of that was, again, as a kid, if you remember, I mentioned I was diagnosed with ADD, which was just that I was energetic. And martial arts helped me to hone that skill in the beginning, but it's always something that you've got to continue to work on, just like your body, just like nutrition. You're never done, right? Once you get fit, it's not, oh, I can just stop. The same thing with, going on those walks. It allows me to continue to refocus and then hit it hard with work the rest of the day. So always up early. I like to get a head start on the day. I love to be up before others, right before the world wakes up. You've already got first feeling of accomplishment, got up, got to walk in, and the rest of the world is quiet. So when you need to get things done, there's nothing pulling at you, people calling you, emails, it's quiet, and it allows you to start the day off on your terms.
Another thing that I like too is how you was able to take your passion and turn it into your business.
Mm.
You took what you do that you love doing, that you enjoy doing, and the lessons that you've learned along the way, and now you help others do the same. Like, and that's when we talk about, like, in Florrie's community, building a life by design and not default. Like,
Mm.
once you have those habits, once you built that level of discipline, once you're passionate about what it is that you do, what you're passionate about can actually become the very thing that would provide a living for you to be able to continue to do it. And a lot of people don't see that. So many people are stuck doing what they feel like they have to do, as opposed to understanding that they have the power to be able to do what it is that they love to do every day and still be compensated for it. What was it like when because sometimes you think, oh, well, I can't do this because I have to work out and I have to do this and I have to do that. What was that like for you when you knew that this is something that can, propel me even further into, what it is that I want and what I desire in life, in terms of just being able to build a business around my passion? What was that like from a mindset standpoint? Was there any fear or hesitation when you said, okay, yeah, I'm going to become a personal trainer, I'm going to become a coach, or I'm going to be able to do this, I'm going to be able to do that? Because, a lot of times our 9 to 5 provide the comfort for us, but yet it's the same box that boxes us in that keeps us from living our true potential. And to be able to step out on your own and do that takes a tremendous amount of courage. Can you talk to us about what that was like when you knew that your passion was going to become your business and what you do?
Absolutely. So the background on my phone, and this has been here, man, it's got to be over 10 years. The same picture. And it says to be the best at what you do takes vision, having the drive to push past even your own imagination. And the first thing, it starts with belief, right? There's no difference between me, between you, between anyone listening to this right now. Yeah, we look different. Yeah, we have different parents, but we've all got abilities and far beyond what we understand we're capable of. And you've got to first take stock of what you enjoy in life. Now, here's what I'll say is a lot of people say you can be anything you want to be. And I do believe that. Where that meets a challenge is okay, Muggsy Bogues was the shortest guy in the NBA ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So other dudes who are 5'3" probably not going to make it to the NBA. Does it mean you don't try? No. It means maybe you're the next one. You've got to commit to yourself that I'm going to give my 100% best effort to whatever it is you want to do. More importantly, you have to realize what fulfills you, and that takes time. Okay? There's a lot of people who are in a rush to have it all figured out by today. Figuring it out takes time. For me, I was fortunate because I've been doing this since I was a kid. When I was in high school, I was coaching my friends. I didn't do it as a business, but I enjoyed doing it. They would follow me to the gym when I started lifting first. Oh, Chris, can we come with you? Yeah, sure. Okay, we're not really sure what to do. We'll just do what you do. Okay, cool. All right. Here's how you do it. Here's how you. And after a while, I'm like, oh wow, like I'm everyone's doing what I do. Similar to when I was a kid, grabbed my bike, went to the next cul-de-sac, got the kids. So you start to look back and realize what are the patterns in your life? What are you good at? And more importantly, what fulfills you? It felt good for me to give this thing to my friends because they were all getting stronger. They were happy with their look and with how they look. They were starting to wear the cut off sleeves, right? And they're like, this is awesome. Like, I got some abs now. And that feeling of fulfillment has never left me from when I was younger, coaching my friends, to when I got the job as a trainer at Equinox, to today when I'm helping men improve their health, live longer, right? Prevent heart attacks, improve their relationships, improve the way they sleep, their energy. It makes me feel incredible. And if you're listening to this right now and you're working a 9 to 5 that you do not love, but you say, I don't know what to do next. Take a second and think, what do you enjoy? The other thing is, what do you have a skill in? Now you might say, well, this is kind of what I know. Okay, well, what you're interested in, start to acquire more skills. Realize that the world is not a zero-sum game. There is opportunity for all of us. And by zero-sum game, if you're not sure what that is, that means that there's only enough for one or a few to achieve success. There is opportunity everywhere, every day. You got to find the right people, but it starts with you pursuing the path. So, what are you interested in? Start to develop a skill. Start to read. We got YouTube, you got books, people that you see on social media that are successful. I'm not saying they're always going to be able to get back to you. Shoot them a DM. One of the things I love to do is ask people who I admire what they've achieved in life and where they've gotten. I ask them what books they read. Every entrepreneur, mentor that I've met, I always say, what are you reading? I want to see. I remember I was at one of the Arnold Schwarzenegger's, it was a ceremony for Lifetime Achievement Awards. And I met Randy Couture. Some of you guys might know who he is, but he was a UFC champ. And when I met Randy, shook his hand, nice guy. And I didn't, run up like, hey, man, I just want to get a picture. I want to get inside here. How do you achieve that? How do you get to be the apex in the UFC? I was like, Randy, what books are you reading? Oh, yeah. He's like, no one's ever asked me that. So he opens his phone, has this long list, and I recorded it. And I started reading some of those books. And other coaches, business coaches that I've had, what books are you reading? So realize that knowledge and information is everywhere. That's the first thing, is you have to inform yourself, because for you to turn what you love into a career is you have to have value. Right now, you're adding value, right? Pathway to Power is a way for you to add value. And you said to yourself, okay, I've got this thing that I want, that fulfills me, that I'm passionate about, but I've got to create a framework. And more importantly, I've got to develop my skills. Now, maybe you've always been great at speaking, but I know you've worked on it. Would you agree? Exactly.
Definitely,
and you can
worked on
tell.
it.
Yeah, you could tell because you're very polished. And somebody might say, oh, I want to speak in front of people. I want to be a motivational speaker, but I'm not so good at speaking. Okay. What do? You start reading books, right? How to Win Friends and Influence People, or, start reading Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, any of these, Les Brown. You start to read Tony Robbins, read about these people, watch their information, watch their content, and you start to learn. Okay, I notice they do this, I notice they do that. And then you've got to get in the right rooms. And that starts with just surrounding yourself with the right people. And I said before, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That includes what you read. So when you want to develop or hone a skill, let's say develop it in the beginning, start reading the books, then practice. You've got to practice. Oh, I'm so busy. Remember that devil? Oh, yeah, you're too busy. You shouldn't. He says, okay, you've got 10 minutes today. If that's all you have, use those 10 minutes wisely. Now, so many people today, we get stuck scrolling on these, right? An easy way to get more time is go into your phone and look at your screen time. Okay. And if you spent an hour, which the statistics are insane, the amount of hours people spend, and they say they don't have enough time to do things. How many hours did you spend? Cut off Instagram unless you're using it for business. And if you are using it for business, use it for business and get off it. Take that time that you wasted, invest it in your craft or what you want to become your craft. But you've got to take the steps, and you have to throw out the self-limiting beliefs. Oh, only people who are born in or who have or who look like or who know XYZ. These are all the excuses I come up with to justify to myself why I'm negotiating with what I truly want. You've got to commit. I'm going to pursue this path. Then you got to burn the boats. And burn the boats is I will not negotiate with myself. I will not create excuses. And it comes with a lot of challenges. Okay? Yes, you're going to be tired at times. Yes, life is going to demand things of you. But when you start to create the identity of the person you want to become. You say, I am the man, let's say, who reads 30 minutes a day. Let's start there. You want to develop a craft? I am the man who reads 30 minutes a day, and get to it. You'll be ahead of, 30 minutes a day, you'll be ahead of 95% of the population. So you're wondering, how do I turn the thing that I'm passionate about into a career? Well, you're already reading 30 minutes a day in the area of interest. You're already ahead of 95% of the population. And I'm not saying that, I'm not pulling that out of the air. That's an actual statistic, excuse me. So that compounds when you start to learn more about a topic. We got social media, free advertising. Let's say you want to do a thing. Well, once you start to learn more about it, get on your phone. When you were wasting time on social media before, start to record. Hey, I'm talking about XYZ. Teach people, add value, right? And people will start to recognize that, oh man, this guy actually, he's spitting some knowledge. He knows something about this. Interact with others. Hey, I see you're struggling with that. Would you like some information? Yeah, sure. Okay. And then just like Pathway to Power, you could have come up with this thing and left it in your house. No one would ever knew it exists. But what did you do? You said, social media, that's the way I reach the world. And it's free. Right? So you started to put out content, and I see people comment, they're inspired, they're motivated, and now they know that you do this thing. They say, Jorge does this thing. And that is one of the easiest ways for you to get traction. Get other people to understand that this is what you do, that this is your area of expertise, right? Or maybe you're not an expert yet, but it's an area, it's a wheelhouse for you. And you've got to make your life all about it every single day. Read more about it. The best way to be interesting is to be interested. And there's different facets of that. You want to build relationships with people? Don't just go into every interaction thinking, what can I get out of it? Right? And this speaks directly to building a career out of something. If my focus every day was just making money, someone would say, hey, Christian, can you help me change my life? Yeah, as long as you pay me. Yeah. Oh, all right, well, you don't really seem like he cares about me. I say, look, what do you need? What are you struggling with? Talk to me. Tell me. I don't care the amount of time you need. Let's talk. And when they tell you what their needs are, you get to work on helping them solve them. And you add value. Oh, I've had clients that I hadn't worked with for years. And I thought of something. Oh, you know what? This would be valuable to him. Let me send that over to Joe. Let me send that over to Pete. And they're like, oh, man, I've been thinking about you. You know what? I let myself fall off the rails. Here, I'm going to come back on. Right? I'd love to work with you again.
Yeah.
Or people maybe who were interested in changing their life and taking charge of their health and fitness. They didn't know how. Yo, you know what, man? I saw a video of you a while back talking about this, and it really hit me here. I didn't realize that that's why I've been struggling. You have time to talk? Yeah, let's talk. You have to add value. Again, work comes before success. The problem these days is that social media leads a lot of people to believe that everyone's an overnight success and everyone's living and driving Lambos and on planes and boats. And the people that you see who are successful, who have genuine success, had years of struggle. And it all started with one step, just like Pathway to Power. Started with one step. So my encouragement to you is whatever you want to do, you've got to start moving in that direction. And that starts with reading. And then surrounding yourself with the people. And that means find them. It means if social media, if you notice it's a time suck for you, delete the people who are just wasting, right? If you're just following a cute girl, oh, I just like looking at her content. Of course you do. We're men. We all do. Eliminate it, right? Start following the people who are giving you value that are going to help you become better. You've got to do an audit of your life. The time you spend, the people you're around, the food you take in, the exercise you are or aren't doing. And everything that you're involved in every day should help you move forward toward the person that you want to become. I'll say that there's no scarcity of opportunity. There's a scarcity of action.
Wow. And we're at the hour limit, and I think we can end it with that, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what's coming to the stage. I told you we have a very powerful lineup of knowledgeable individuals, speakers who are out there day in and day out. They're getting the results, they're putting in the work. We're not putting no imposters on stage. Everybody here They have the proof. You can go and you can check their track record for the things that they're talking about. Christian, I want to thank you, man. I've taken away so much from this interview more than I have any other one because I'm walking away from this one challenged. A
Mm.
lot of times I'll do an interview and I'll walk away entertained.
Mm.
I'm walking away from this one challenged. When I'm done with this one, I'm going to have a hard conversation with the man in the mirror and ask myself, what am I doing and what am I not doing in terms of the things that I said that I was going to do for myself? Am I showing up for myself the way that I show up for everything else? Bro, I mean, this was amazing. This was amazing. And I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your love and for your contribution. I want to thank you for your example and for your witness, for your determination, your discipline, your dedication, not only to your craft, but to the people that you serve, to the people that you're connected to. And I just want to thank you for the value that you offer. From the day that I met you, brother, like it was always that instinct, like, yo, this guy is special. This guy is special. And just to see, what you're doing and how you do it on a consistent basis means everything to me. It's honor to be connected to you. It's an honor to have you come and touch that stage June 6th. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, if you want your life to change, you got to show up. You have to be present. This is an event that you don't want to miss. Once you see this interview, let your people know. Pass this on. Share this. This is information that people aren't talking about. Everybody else is talking nonsense. We ain't got time for that. We're on a mission. We're here for our people. We're here to raise the standard in our community, and it's through our own pain, through our own experience. But we're here and we're giving back. So, Christian, I thank you. I look forward to seeing you on June 6th. If you give out everybody your social media handles and let them know how they can connect with you online.
Absolutely. Instagram is Christian F. Palmer, and on Facebook, it's Christian Palmer. And Jorge, I want to say thank you because Pathway to Power would be nothing without you, right? And the actions you took. And like I said, anybody can talk. It's action that makes a difference. And everyone who watches this who's inspired, it's because you decided to put them before yourself.
Wow.
And I'm honored to have you as a friend, and you've got great things ahead. And it's been incredible to see how much progress you've made and how many lives you've impacted.
Wow. Thank you, brother. I really feel that, man. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. And I thank you, man. Christian, you have a blessed day. Thank you for your time. And continue to be great, brother. Like you got the world watching, the eyes are on you. And good luck on your next show. Your next show coming up. What is that? That you're gonna be
Yeah. So
competing?
that's my pro debut. So that is in 12 weeks out in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're coming to take it.
Let's go. Let's go. Make it happen, baby. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Pathway to Power with Coach George. You got my man Christian Palmer here. I'll see you on June 6th at the Newburgh Armory from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Like I told you, this is just one of the speakers. We got live performances. We got two DJs. We're bringing entertainment and education together, and we're going to do it like none other. So I thank you for your time, and I thank you for watching. Have a blessed day. Christian, take it easy, brother.
Take care, brother.
All right.